What's going on, guys? Today we're talking about the 8 main principles to be rich from the book Think and Grow Rich. And at the end of this video, you'll find out how Mark Cuban made its way to the Guinness Book of World Records in 1999. If you like videos about business, success, and psychology, make sure to subscribe because there's a lot of videos coming out soon. In 1908, Napoleon Hill, the writer of this book, took a job as a writer for Bomb Taylor's magazine, interviewing successful people and writing their success stories. The job did not pay very much money. He had his first interview with Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest industrial men in history. Carnegie told Hill that anybody could be rich if they followed a set of principles that successful people use to achieve wealth. Carnegie offered Hill the opportunity to meet and interview the richest people in the world and compile the research into a book which later became Think and Grow Rich. But there was one catch. He was not gonna get paid for this. Hill agreed in less than 30 seconds. The first idea the book gives in order to be rich is that we need to have a burning desire to be successful. If you kind of want it but do not fully commit to it, you will probably not stick to your goals or be distracted by other things. Hill gives us practical steps to develop a clear vision, a clear desire of the riches we want to achieve. The first step is to define the exact amount of money you desire. The second step is to determine what you will give in exchange for this money. Remember, nothing comes for free. Third step is to define the date when you will reach your monetary goal. The fourth is to create a plan that carries out your goal so you can then take action on it. Number 5 is to make sure you write down your goals, what you will give in your timeline so you can go back and review it later. Sixth step is to go over your statement every day or twice a day to start seeing yourself at your end goal. This plan not only helps you develop your vision and fuel your desire to accomplish it, but it gives you a practical plan so you can keep track of your progress. For example, you can say, my first goal is to make $300,000 a year. I will teach people how to use their social media to build and develop their businesses, since that's one of the skills that I've developed. I will create a course with everything a person needs in order to do this, and I will sell it for $300. This means I will have to sell 1,000 copies in the next year to reach my goal. This means that I will have to sell 83 copies per month, which is around 3 copies of my product per day. This plan breaks it down in a very simple way. Looking at your plan daily will help you with the next principle, which is number 2. The second principle is to have a strong emotional connection and self-belief towards your end goal. In other words, faith. Seeing yourself at the end goal that you wrote the last step will give you an emotional experience of what success feels like to you. This emotionally charged self-belief can also be developed in a few ways. Some people use repeated affirmations, which are positive and specific statements that help you visualize and believe in your goals. Other people, including myself, like to develop a good environmental exposure, which is reading, learning, meeting, and interacting with others who have already achieved what you desire. This makes it much easier for you to believe that your end goal is possible because you've seen people no different than you who have achieved it. Hill says that you will develop a strong sense of faith when you have mastered all of the principles in this book, but especially if you master the next principle. Number 3. Autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is when we feed our subconscious mind with guided thoughts. It's a psychological technique related to the placebo effect, which helps us curate what goes into the unconscious mind. This is very important because just as we can guide our thoughts in a positive way, we can also unconsciously negatively autosuggest by neglect. Meaning that if we constantly allow negative thoughts to invade our mind, we will be negatively autosuggesting. Make sure to check out my video on the psychology of self-image for a more in-depth look at how to influence your autosuggestion. As Hill says, it is important to attach emotion when you see your end goal because your brain only acts on emotional charged thoughts. And here's a Mark Cuban clue. The reason why Mark Cuban went on to be in the Guinness Book of World Records was for the largest single e-commerce transaction of $40 million. Can you guess what he bought? Write it in the comments below and see if you got it right. Number 4. Specialized knowledge. Let me ask you something. Who would you go for legal advice? Someone who specializes in law, or someone who knows law and also knows marketing and has a limo business on the side? The one who is specialized, I'm assuming. Now, who do you think makes the most money? The one who specializes. Knowing more and being an expert at something gives you an edge over others who have general knowledge. Most rich and successful people have only a handful of skills that they are very good at. It comes down to self-awareness and figuring out what you're good at and what you are not good at. Like entrepreneur Gary Vaynerchuk says, I suck at most things, but I am really good at a few others. By becoming an expert at only a few skills and using the specialized knowledge of others, you can complement your strengths and your weaknesses, making you significantly more effective. Number 5. Imagination. Think about this. Everything around you, from houses to cars and planes, even the phone that you're holding, was at one point in someone's imagination. Like author Stephen Covey says, things are created twice, once in the mind and then in the physical reality. Successful people use imagination to look and prepare for future situations. This can help make decisions easier in the future because you've already imagined how you would solve them. Our sophisticated imagination as humans is what makes us create all the amazing things around us. Like Steve Jobs said, everything around us was made by someone no smarter than us. They just used their imagination. Number 6. Organized planning and the power of the mastermind. A mastermind is when a group of individuals use their unique specialized skills and efforts to reach a common goal. This is incredibly powerful, not only for the variety of skills that each individual brings, but there's something very powerful that happens when people collaborate with each other. Let me know if you've ever experienced this, when someone else's insight can trigger a creative spark in you that wasn't there before. This creates a powerful synergy. Here, 1 + 1 equals more than 2. The whole mastermind is more valuable than each individual on its own. When building a mastermind group, it is important to take into account a few things. There should be a goal that everyone is working toward. A mastermind won't be effective if there's no common goal. Number 2, make sure the members of the mastermind get a benefit in return. No one likes to feel they're being used by someone ungrateful. Number 3, meet with your mastermind often. Make sure that you get to know them well and everyone gets along. The dynamic of a mastermind group is very important. No matter how skillful a person in your group is, if they disrupt a good dynamic, will make it much harder to reach the goal. Number 7, decision. Hill suggests to make clear decisions of what we want to do and stick with them. A lot of people fail not because they're not smart or talented, it's because they make decisions slowly and change them very fast. Think about it. There are many people who complain about having the idea of a good product and then somebody else did it. The reason why they fell was because they either did not make a decision to accomplish their goals, they took too long to make a decision, or it became too difficult and they quit. Now, there's a point where sometimes you will have to change the decisions, but before you do, make sure you give it some thought. Hill studied hundreds of rich and successful people, and he found that all of them reached decisions quickly and changed them slowly if they ever had to. Number 8, persistence. It's easy to work on your plan when everything is going well. The challenge is when things start to get tough. This is what differentiates someone who will be successful in the long term and someone who won't. For example, Steve Harvey, the host of Family Feud, has his own talk show and radio show, multimillionaire, was homeless at one point, living in his car for a very long period of time while he was working on his stand-up comedy. He did not start getting successful until he was 36 years old. Colonel Sanders was denied 1,009 times before someone bought the rights for his chicken recipe, and then KFC was born. He was 66 years old. There are a few other ideas in the book that I don't consider to be super practical, like the idea that there's a great infinite intelligence that we are all connected to. Or another one that I actually believe in that says that people, especially men, tend to draw energy from their sexuality. So if a man feels sexual energy towards another person, he will feel more motivated to be great. So if you're a guy, having beautiful women around you might actually push you to be more successful. Alright guys, I'll tell you what Mark Cuban bought online that costed $40 million. But first, let's go over the main ideas of this video. Number 1. In order to be rich, you will need a strong burning desire to achieve it. Number 2. Faith. Having a strong emotional connection to your end goal will push you to persist. Number 3. Autosuggestion. Believing that you can accomplish your goals is very important to actually achieving them. Number 4. Specialized knowledge. Become an expert. Number 5. Imagination. Use your imagination to create and help you make future decisions. Number 6. Build a powerful mastermind. This will make your efforts much more effective. Number 7. Decisions. Make decisions quickly and change them slowly if you really have to change them. Number 8. Persistence. This will save you when times get hard. Alright guys, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to leave a comment. I would love to hear what you have to say about the subject. And the purchase that put Mark Cuban in the Guinness Book of World Records was his $40 million Gulfstream 5 private jet. He bought his private jet after selling his company Broadcast.com to Yahoo for $5.7 billion. As always guys, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next video.